My good buddy, my educational partner Flurry, who's a 3-year-old Arctic wolf, lost his girlfriend, who was 13 years old this past winter. Flurry was pretty lonely and desperate for some canine companionship, and we definitely had room for another female in the sanctuary. And it just so happened we got a phone call from a lady named Linda Boggs up in Alaska who had rescued a captive bred wolf that was bred by an illegal breeder not too far from actually where she lived. When we saw the video of Allie, this beautiful little timber wolf girl, I knew absolutely that Flurry would have a great girlfriend. So I began making arrangements to fly to Alaska so that we could bring Allie home. The flight actually was pretty short and the view was spectacular. I've never seen the sun almost never set. It finally got almost completely dark at about 12:30 in the morning when I reached Anchorage. The next morning I got up about 8 o'clock and looked out my hotel window and saw the beautiful view and knew that I was going to see some really pretty and interesting stuff on my trip. My host on my trip to Alaska was a Schipperke named Tori and his human counterpart, Linda Boggs. Linda is the one who for sure rescued Allie from certain death. See, it's illegal to own a wolf or a wolf dog in most places in Alaska, and Allie had been purchased to be someone's pet. Like most wolves, Allie was an escape artist and escaped from the home she was living at and was captured by animal control. And in most cases, animal control will euthanize a wolf or a wolf dog within 48 hours. The drive to see Allie was absolutely beautiful. I even got to see a moose on the highway, but I didn't get to get my video camera out fast enough to show anybody. Well, I just got here over at Linda's house, and there's our little Allie. A little nervous. Smells great out here. Absolutely great. And this is the view from the place I'm staying at here for the next couple days. Allie seemed a little nervous when I got there because she had a new stranger in her midst. But I went over and sat down beside her enclosure just to get her used to my scent. I didn't spend much time. She was definitely very, very shy, but at the same time I think she still had a curious level. And of course when I left she smelled everywhere I had been. That morning, Linda and I drove to where Allie had been bred, to a place called Wolf Country, USA, where this guy somehow gets away with breeding captive wolves and selling them to the public. When I got there, they had 4 puppies for sale. Oh my goodness. Oh, you're so stinking cute.
Where are you both visiting from?
New Mexico for me. She lives here. We paid for the tour and we walked through and I couldn't believe my eyes. They brag of being the largest wolf pack in Alaska, but yet every single animal is on a chain.
Don't reach out and pet nobody unless I say you can pet him. Yeah. This is Ebony.
Ebony, what's a good name, baby?
Ebony's sister lives in a $5 million house in Denver.
And somehow that makes it all okay,
3 wolves
right?
live inside that
because
house.
They live in a mansion in Denver.
They share the groceries. When they cook a roast, they'll grab a roast, take it out, and share it amongst the 3 of them. They got a wolf setter that cleans up, poops up. They poop on the carpet. They just shampoo it right away.
I have seen some really sad places.
Big boy.
where animals are
There we
kept,
go.
and this
Come
is
on,
one
up.
of those
There we
really
go.
sad
Isn't that
places where the people actually
Awesome
think
picture.
it's okay.
That's big boy. Let's hear it. Sunshine. Little bit sunshine. She had 2 puppies this year. One died at birth. Samantha's the next one.
That's the mama.
Yeah, she had 5 puppies. She's up over here. Samantha is living proof that all wolves aren't born smart. But she's gonna dance for you in a minute. Before she had the 5 puppies last year, all she ever did was eat, sleep, and poop. Now she can eat, sleep, poop, and she's gonna dance for you. Stay at the high side of this boardwalk.
I really did get actually sick to my stomach. My heart went out to these animals, and most of them were so sweet and so forlorning. Their water was green. They had fleas. Nowhere to hide except for in these crappy little wooden sheds.
Duchess, you can play
They
with
had
her
holes
puppies
dug everywhere.
as they come out of the womb. And no friendly animal ever born. If you call her over to you, she'll let you pet her. This is Jake. I'm gonna dance for you. Now, Samantha, she's dancing too. The only difference is, he hardly ever misses a cookie. She's never ever caught one.
How big? I mean, just look at this place. Doesn't it just make you sick? I want to just save them all right now.
She's your baby. Look at that. I love you, baby. She's sweet, sweet. She's sweet, sweet. Oh, you're sweet, sweet. She's sweet, sweet.
Their water bowls are actually cemented to the ground, and there was no way they could be cleaned out unless you sort of swished all the water out with your hand, and I don't think they ever did that.
Oh, I know.
I should get him the house here in a minute.
This guy here made it really clear, don't get close to me because I will bite you. And it stuns me that this is allowed to have an animal on a chain close enough to the public that if they barely reached out could be bit by a wild animal, and then what's going to happen to that animal?
Oh, you don't eat today! Get your certificate inside. Thank you. Thank you.
Nice building.
After we left the horror of Wolf Country, USA, wolves on chains every day, we took a beautiful scenic drive to the Alaskan Wildlife Conservation Center, where I met with their executive director, Mike Miller, and had a nice chat for a while. And there at the Wildlife Conservation Center, I saw some bison from their woodland bison recovery project that they're doing. Some black bear, and even a musk ox, moose. It was a pretty good time and absolutely gorgeous all the way around. After we left the Wildlife Conservation Center, we took the long drive back to Linda's house and called it a day. The very next morning, I woke up to a really pleasant surprise and something I could only hope for. A mama moose and her baby calf just below the deck at the guest house I was staying in.
Here's the mama moose and the baby moose snacking right outside the porch. I'm just gonna see if I can sneak down and get a little better view.
Now I know full well one of the most dangerous animals in Alaska is a moose. And I'm sure that's a mama moose with a moose baby. But I couldn't help but get as close as I possibly could.
Hi, Mama.
I saw that Mama Moose kept an eye on me really good, but I just couldn't resist getting as close as possible. But then, I discovered I didn't have to even budge, because here came Baby Moose.
She's 3 feet from me.
She got just within 3 feet from me. It was so incredible. I wanted to reach out and touch her, but I saw that mama had one eye on me.
Now I'm concerned about what Mama's gonna do. She's thinking about moving.
After my moose adventure, I went down to see how Allie was doing that morning. She seemed a lot more calm, and I actually went in with her and Tori.
What are you doing, little man? What are you doing, little man?
Tori was a great host. I really had I had so much fun with him. I'd never met a skipper key before, and this guy is great.
Oh, you're a stinky. You're a little stinky thing. What, little man? Whoa, little man.
I just wanted to see if Allie would warm up if I brought Tori in with me to see that I was okay. Because she likes Tori, and I figure if I like Tori, maybe she'll
Come here,
like
Allie.
me
Come
too.
get some of this. Come on, come get some love now.
Well, Linda and I left Allie again for a few hours and headed over to the Anchorage Zoo, where I got the opportunity to walk with the caretakers of the wolves and 2 of their wolves. That was exciting. These were giant wolves. Yeah, I'm pretty familiar with all that stealing stuff. You could be overpowered by 6 of them in there.
Yeah.
They were Alaskan tundra wolves and some of the biggest guys I had ever seen.
Here.
Oh, that's good stuff. Get it, rolling it. Yeah, man.
He's the best for presentations, and he's the one who responds to really subtle cues like very easily.
Do you have like an arena that you do a presentation in, or do you just do it in the enclosure?
There, while we were talking before we came down to the runs.
Oh, It was really great to hang out with the caretakers and just talk about wolves and what they do and what we do and how they do that and how we do that. And I had a really great time, and I really thank all the ladies for hosting me and giving me this opportunity for sure. So they have a fear factor of getting that far, or what?
You know, they've gotten a lot better. You should have seen when they were younger and we'd take them out on the grounds. Everything would freak them out, you know.
Yeah.
Everything was somebody else's territory, and that was scary.
Yeah, well,
But now they're so much more confident.
yeah, the hardest thing that I had to deal with my first ambassador is he would never urinate off the sanctuary property.
Yeah.
And we were going places, and he was holding it all day long, and I was suffering just because knowing he was suffering.
Right.
Itchy mustache. How about the itchy mustache? Do you want to say hi again?
I say hi. Come on, say hi to me. Say hi. Hi. Yeah. Oh.
Sorry.
Oh, that's okay. I'm totally used to it. I just so wish I didn't have to hold the camera all the time, but I got a nice goose from the big guy, and I lifted me completely off of my feet. And then I got to hang out with Archie for a couple of minutes when we encountered a film crew from Game and Fish who were interviewing people about their views about wolves. And that's where we rescue wolves from people. So I got to say what I thought about things, our motto is that wild animals, which I always enjoy doing. That people really need to be able to distinguish between the wild canid and the domesticated mission. never get them mixed up, and they should never be doing the mixing of, you know, breeding wolves to dogs and dogs to wolves, and thinking that that's okay too. I believe that we need to keep the wild wild and the domestic in our homes.
And you've been doing this for a while. Your sanctuary?
Yeah, I started working at the sanctuary in 1996. I took over in 2003, and we've so far in my time there, we've had about 400 animals come through, hand-raised wolves that were babies when we got them. We've rescued from breeding mills, from individuals who've had them as pets, animals that have escaped and had to go and try to capture and put in our facility. Right now I think I have 52, and I'm taking one home today, so I'll have 53 by tomorrow. And I'm just totally an advocate that the wolf is the caretaker of our nature, and it's important to remember that the wolf is a keystone species, and if we take it from its natural environment, our natural environment will start to fall apart. But the wolf has been this thing that's been demonized through mythology. And the truth needs to be spoken, that they're a family unit. They're loving parents who have a family. Wolves are not a bunch of strangers who get together to have lunch one afternoon. It's a family unit with the alpha pair as the leaders, and there's no incest, there's no child abuse, there's no divorce, there's no spousal abuse in that family unit. What can we learn from that? Well, we get focused on, oh, they're the big bad predator. Yeah, they're a mighty hunter, but still, they're a family, and we all got to eat, and we're all opportunists. And when people say, well, they're just opportunists, they're just going to kill my sheep. Well, everybody's an opportunist. We do the least amount of work we can to all have breakfast in the morning. So with all that said, I had to get busy, get a kennel for Allie, and get it ready for shipping that very night. We got ourselves a kennel and all the goodies. I got to work for Allie, and now I'm going to modify it a little bit to make sure she doesn't get out in the airplane. And hopefully I can modify it enough that there won't be a problem. Okay. So what I'm doing here is I'm modifying this kennel. I've put in some hardware cloth so that she can't get her teeth on these other bars on this side and maybe start breaking through. I've put in here where it's just plastic, any animal can get their teeth on that and start trimming all that. Since she's got about a 6-hour flight, she has plenty of time to get busy and try to escape. So hopefully, of course, she won't try, but we just never know. So I think I've riveted all these in. I think I've got it in pretty good, that if she's going to start tearing up, she's going to tear up this hardware cloth first, and then have to get to the other parts. So that's what I'm counting on. And then I'm going to slide this threaded rod to the door so that we can secure the door and she can't pull it or push it out. So there we go. That's what I'm working on at the moment. So I should be done in about a half an hour getting this all together. So I'll get this put together the way it's recommended, and then I'm going to do some extra. I'm just going to go over and above the Call of Duty and reinforce it the wolf daddy way. So next I'm going to add some zip ties by drilling through and putting on a zip tie through here. Like so. Then I'll trim off the excess. So I'm going to do this all the way around, everywhere I can. And then once we get her in, I'm going to tie wire the gate. Okay, so now I've got 4 zip ties on the back, along with the nuts and bolts that come with it. I've got 4 zip ties on each side and 2 in the front. And then the next thing I'm going to do is I've got this threaded rod, and I am going to slide it through some holes here, and it'll go through there. I'm going to cut it to length, and it'll go through there. And then I bought some wing nuts and some washers, and I will then secure the door to the rod so the door cannot either be pushed in or out after I tie wire it when she gets in there, and I believe we should be secure. Alright, so what I've done is I cut this rod down the size. I damaged the one end intentionally, so when I slide the nut on, it can't come off backwards. So I'm going to screw this thing all the way on. And then after it's screwed all the way on, here's what's going to happen. I've drilled a hole through here, and what it's going to do is go through this hole. I'm going to put these little wing nuts on the end so I can get it off, and then I'm actually going to tie wire again right here to the rod, the gate. So now this gate won't be able to be pushed out or pulled in once I get that tie wire wrapped around it when she's inside the kennel. And if she can get out of this, well, then, darn it, she deserves to get out, and she should be running free for the rest of her life. No, not really, but hopefully this will be all I need to keep that little girl in there, and it's really about me. It's about making me feel comfortable and secure that nothing's going to happen to this little girl, because it's pretty spooky for me to fly with the girl. I fly with a wolf, and I don't get to keep an eye on her. Being in cargo, it just kind of freaks me out that I won't be able to see how she's doing, comfort her, or provide for her what she might need. So for me, it's going to be a stressful 6-hour flight to LA. Excuse me. And but I'm sure it'll be all okay. So so I am ready to load up Allie. Okay, now what I've done is I've drilled tiny little holes right across the top, where I'm now going to place a curtain over the front, so the poor little girl doesn't have to be startled by all the activity and the people at the airport. And I've got the rod in. I'll tie wire it. I'll pull the rod out when we open the door, of course. I'll tie wire it when she's in, and it will not be able to be opened. And if somebody at the airport tries to open it, it's going to take them a very, very long time. So that's kind of my goal. Make it hard for a human to open it, and even harder for a little wolf girl to open it. She can't get her teeth or her paws through that. People can't put their fingers in through that. They can still put their fingers through here, but I think hopefully only foolish people would dare do such a thing. So, okay, next is the curtain. Okay, I think I have pretty well done it. I've got curtains on the side so that she doesn't have to get frightened. Now we're supposed to leave some open. 16% needs to be open, so we're going to leave the back open like this. It's a little harder for her to see out of. And we've got the front all curtained out, easy flopping, so there's plenty of airflow. And looky, there's a little skipper key in the kennel. This is Tori. Tori's been helping me out all day. Tori's kind of in love with Allie. I'll bet you he's gonna miss her. But he's in there just putting his scent in there to help Allie feel maybe a little more comfortable. Are you one out, Tor? Come on, man. Come on out, little booger. There's the man. Oh, go ahead. You going back in? Oh, no. Okay. I think we're ready to roll. Okay. A couple more hours. We'll get to the airport and head on home. Alaska has been absolutely phenomenally beautiful. With that opportunity to see elk and bear and coyotes, and I got to go to the Anchorage Zoo and walk with their wolves. How exciting. Oh, gotta put the stickers on. Can't forget the live animal stickers. Close it, close it, close it all the way. Close it, close it. There you go. Good job. Good job. Since it stayed light for so long during the day, I always lost track of what time it was. Before I knew it, it was time to crate up Allie and actually get her to the airport. So I got out of the way and let Linda crate her up all by herself by just using some kennel parts to blockade her and a Y pole, and she was easily able to coax Allie right into that kennel that I had prepared for her, and we rushed off to the airport. What's that? Don't pull back my curtains. Yeah, I think it's got curtains on it. Allie and I landed without incident in LA at LAX, where Angel, my assistant, was waiting for us in our animal transport van. Angel and I had a quick meeting with some folks in LA, and we were back home in 10 hours, about 3:30, 4:30 in the morning, the very next morning. Well, we finally made it home at about 4 o'clock in the morning. We've let Allie go in the dark. I never really like to let an animal into a brand new habitat in the dark, so I sat with Allie until it got daylight. All we see is glowing eyes. Our neighbors are all very, very interested. Look at all these glowing eyes. Flurry, there's your girl. There's your girl, big boy. What do you think, little man? You ready to go see her? Everybody else seems to be. We'll wait till morning. We'll wait till it's light. Well, it's about 5 o'clock. The sun has just come up. I decided just to stay here, keep an eye on Allie, see how she's doing. Flurry seems relatively excited about her. Of course, she's still a little nervous. Well, let's see what I can do to have a little introduction, do some refereeing. You look like a little coyote, like a big coyote, I should say. Then, without further ado, I got our boy Flurry and put a leash on him and walked him over to meet his new girlfriend. She sure is a pretty thing. Look. Good boy. go see the girl. Let's go see the girl. Go ahead and inspect that kennel. Check it out. You're so little. Here's your good boy. Here's your good boy. He's just gonna ignore the little girl for a minute, huh? He's gonna ignore her? You'd rather just sit here and get petted by the dad? Why don't you go see that little lady? Why don't you go see her? Let her come see you, huh? Why don't you let her come see you? Handsome little man. So Flurry's just going to check out all the scents that she's left. Oh, here she comes. Checking him out. Follow behind. Are you nervous? Does matchmaking make you nervous? He found her food. Now she has an issue. That's interesting. Well, even Flurry can be a butthead, and he stole her food that I had given her earlier in the morning. Should have ate it, Al. So now he's going to protect that food for a while until he's all done. Why don't you share some of those bits? Why don't you share some? Huh? Oh, yeah. Yeah. You don't want to share? Oh, you don't want to share? Oh, you're so vicious and ferocious. Silly man. Hi, baby. Go say hello to that girl. Give her some kind of greeting. Don't pay so much attention to me. Gosh, you're dusty. Look at the dust come off of you. You're just a big powder puff. But I think perhaps after a good breakfast, Flurry was a little bit more cordial to Allie and decided to get a few more interesting sniffs and activity in with her, just to test her out. Of course, being the handsome Arctic wolf that he is, he had to play a little hard to get. After all, it's Dad playing matchmaker. But she does have a cute little booty and it smells real nice. Everybody on the fence line was obviously very interested. New matchmaking is always something to sing about and talk about. Gypsy and Dusty, adjacent to Flurry and Allie, are two low-content wolf dogs. Flurry had been hanging out with them, so I think that might be another reason why he wasn't so anxious to start playing right away with playful Allie. But I did see some nice courtship stuff going on. And Flurry definitely demonstrated that he wanted to be the alpha one, just by the way his tail was standing straight out. almost always, as Allie's tail, it was almost always tucked. This is a really, really beautiful conversation of questioning one another and wondering what each person's position is ultimately going to be. It seemed pretty obvious, though, that Flurry wasn't going to pay a whole lot of attention to her, and he certainly wasn't going to be aggressive to her, and she obviously wasn't going to be aggressive to him either. So they did a little bit of courtship dancing, a little bit of strategic posturing, and then Flurry got completely and utterly disinterested. So I left the enclosure and I came back sometime later just to see how they were doing. And I think all's well. And we'll give you a follow-up in the very, very near future. That's it, huh? So Allie and Flurry have been together for about 8 hours with no incident. It's looking kind of good. Not a match made in heaven, but it could end up being that way.